Hey YouTube, here's a new project. We're taking this Godin 5th Avenue and doing some mods to it. So this guy is a pure acoustic, and we're turning it into an acoustic electric and installing a bare knuckle P90 in the neck, taking that pickguard off. I ordered a black pickguard for that, installing a Bigsby, a roller bridge, and naturally because of the pickup I'm putting in some electrics as well, and then doing a graphite nut, the top set slightly higher for slide. So the parts, I quite like these Bigsby's, not the traditional look that we were used to. It's nice and dainty. It's the roller bridge, bare knuckles or knuckle, and some parts there that the customer brought in. I'll do the rest, and yep, get this baby all electrified. Okay, so this is everything sort of lined up. You can see the Bigsby's lined up, bridge is lined up, and here's this P90. I've already taped off where I'm going to cut out in the body. Obviously it's the section that's sticking out the bottom here, which is this nice big square section. So I'll cut that out with the Dremel, drill out the corners to make it neat. Just thinking about where the knobs go. On the traditional Kingpin, 5th Avenue Kingpin, the knobs are a little more kind of in. We do have this bigger sort of Bigsby mechanism down here, so I'm putting them down in this area. So I'll also tape that up and drill the holes and get started there. Alright, so finished cutting the hole and filing the edges a little bit. It's nice and neat and tidy. Do a little test fit, and it's really good. I wanted a little bit of wiggle room like that. What that does is it gives me a chance to align the pickup well. Obviously there's not so much wiggle room that I can see a hole when I move it around, but that's perfect. So I will line that up and just prick the holes where I want them to be, and then I'll drill them later. I'm going to get on with finessing the fret ends now. As I've done before, just taking my little fret dressing file here and just kissing the edges. This guitar isn't necessarily receiving a level, but I do want it to feel good. It's these little finesses that make it ultimately feel like a more expensive guitar. Just rounding them over. This file's got a safe edge at the bottom, so it's not cutting into the fingerboard. It's just taking off the sharp edges of the frets. The next thing I'm going to do is clean up the frets, polish them up. I use a 400 grit foam sanding pad, an 800 grit foam backed sanding pad, a 1000 grit fret eraser, steel wool, quadruple zero grade, sorry. I use a new scraper blade to scrape marks away and level off inlays, and then I'll come in later with the sort of micro mesh paper to polish back when I use oil as well, a boiled linseed oil. So that's what I'll do next. I'm not worried about the fingerboard right now, because that'll all get cleaned up once I'm done with this. I could tape it off, but I'm going to be cleaning the fingerboard anyway, so I'm just creating more work for myself. There you go. If you wanted more of a shine, You could tape it off and use a rubbing compound like T-Cut or McGuire's scratch remover, swirl mark remover. That's great. I'll do the rest of the board, but I just wanted to show you how that little section went. Okay, next up I'm going to do the wiring. Before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Mitch at Emerson Custom. If there's a company who do things to a quality level that is absolutely inspirational, it's them. And you know, I get all my pots and stuff from Mitch at Emerson. They are exceptionally good, and I'd highly recommend that if you're doing if you're doing a project on your guitar, you buy a new guitar and you just want to upgrade the guts under the hood, go with Emerson Custom. Their products are a work of art. So that said, I'm going to get stuck in. I measured both these pots, and I've got a 485K here and a 491 here. I've chosen to use the 485K in the volume and the 491 in the tone. Switchcraft jack, I'm using a ceramic capacitor, and I'm going with a 0.1 just so that I've got a little bit of the highs rolled off, considering I've got almost 500K pots going on with a P90. I just want to take the edge off a little bit with that capacitor. Got some heat shrink for when I do the wires to the jack, so I'll get started. I'm leaving some space on the lug for the pickup wire to come and attach there. I'm giving it some extra wire here just so that I have wiggle room when I'm installing the harness through the airfoil later. Hopefully I have enough room to the airfoil. The other nice thing about this capacitor is it's nice and flat, and so it won't be an issue getting through the airfoil later. I like to use braided wire when I'm doing jacks. Just makes life better. Thank you, lava cable. Makes my life fairly easy. Turn this around a little bit. Get a better angle. use a bit of heat shrink to stop any lugs getting touched along the way. Though I'm going to use this braid to ground the two pots together. So much easier that way. Okay, I'm just using a touch of heat shrink again, just to protect this wire from touching the front of the jack as it comes through. Okay, that's it. Wait, no, it's not it. Need a ground wire from the bridge to the back of the pots. Extend the sucker out. Now, I'll have pushback wire for this. Pull this off here. There we go. That'll do. And we'll solder the pickup on it as we're putting it in. Alright, the pickup and electrics are in. Some wiggly work going on. I ended up having to thread the harness in through the pickup cavity because the airfoil wasn't big enough. I'm happy. The ground wire is waiting for the trim, which I will get started on. Okay, Bigsby's mounted. I ran the ground wire out and into one of the old screw holes so that it was secured. And just a point of note that there's a Callahan upgrade bar which makes the world of difference. But note that Callahan upgrade bars only fit on top of the range Bigsby's, not the 50s, 60s, 70s, 30s, you know, and the hundreds. Only fits on the main, you know, B3s, B5s, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm gonna start working on the bridge a little bit. This is the beauty of a Callahan main bar. You just thread it through. No fiddly bits. So one problem I have is that with the pickup mounted, it's too low. I mean, that's a long way to go in terms of height and string to the top of the pole piece. Even if I drop the action nice and low, which I hope to do, there's still, you know, quite a long way to go. It's a ½ inch. So I am going to take a piece of maple that I have left over from a pedal board that was busted when it got to me. What I can do is create a shim underneath this. It also gives me a chance to correct the angle of this pickup and make it straight. I've looked online. I cannot find any cream colored spacers for dog ear P90s. Black ones everywhere. Cream ones, can't find them. So I'm going to go ahead and use this piece of beautiful flame maple and just get creative. I've done the shim out of some maple. There it is. What I should have done though is left more material on the end so I could draw through and just have a hole so that I could keep that lined up with the pickup cover. That's okay. I'm just going to tack some glue on underneath and glue the pickup cover to this and create one big pickup cover. But what I do want to do is shape the base of this to match the top and the arch of the guitar. So I've got some masking tape down protecting the top, and I've stuck down some, I think it's 120 or 80 grit stick it 3M sandpaper, and I'm just carefully working it, putting more pressure on this side because obviously I want to create that level. So it's a long process. Right, so she's all sanded up. See that side's all thinned down and contoured. She'll sit nicely, a bit of flex still, so she'll pull down onto the body. I'm going to do a few coats of probably wipe on poly or true oil and then mount her up. So as you can see, I've finished with the shim, with the spacer. I've mounted it on. I did 2 coats of true oil. I'm happy with that. Didn't want to overdo it to spend too much on it. I'm working on the bridge. I've already taken quite a lot of material off on the belt sander. Just marked it out with my little pencil that I use for carving nuts, and now I'm just fine tuning it. Masking tape down, sticky back 80 grit, and a whole lot of that. Alright, end of the project. I'm actually quite stoked with this one. I'm really happy with how the spacer turned out. There she is. Works really well. Gave me perfect height. I'm happy with the action. There's the Callahan upgraded main bar. If you have a sort of a B5, B50, B3, B6, that kind of thing, so not a B50, any of the single digit Bigsbys, the main Bigsbys, the Callahan main bar fits and is honestly one of the best upgrades. Wiring's done. I trimmed the pickguard to fit around the pickup. Happy with that. And yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked. There's the Tusq nut. I still filed the top down, reshaped it a little bit, and cleaned it up with some. I ended up cleaning it up at the end with 800 grit. So because it's a satin, you know, the kind of sheen to the finish of it. It's not a polished bone nut. I didn't go all the way, which is good. And she sounds lovely. Yep. Here she is. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share, etc., etc.